Alright guys, we are in week 2. Okay, your assignment for this week was to look at the short story Thank You Ma'am by Langston Hughes. Now, I didn't make a recording of myself reading it this week because I did find a good reading on YouTube, which I put the link on, and I hope you listen to it because I feel like that person did a better job of reading it, especially since there's more dialogue in the story and I don't have the black woman soul. So I wanted a better reading of it this week. But I am going to explain the story a little bit, kind of clear up some things. I hope if anything was confusing to you, so that way you can answer those questions. Now, please keep in mind those questions are going to be a quiz grade. And you have to use evidence from the story. So as you are answering the questions, go back in the story and find sentences that go along with your answer and put those in there because you're helping to support your answer. So please be sure that you are doing that, okay? All right, so we are introduced to this lovely black woman at the beginning of the story, okay? I love her character, Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones, okay? Love her. Love her character. She's walking home 11 o'clock at night. She's a large woman and she has a large purse. Right? That's pretty awesome. So she's coming home from work. This little boy Roger decides that he's going to try to steal her pocketbook or her purse. He doesn't succeed. He breaks the strap, he trips, he falls, and Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones decides to kick him in, what does it say, right square in his blue jeaned sitter, which means she kicked him in the tush, which I absolutely love. Okay, I love her intimidation. She didn't just ask him to pick up her pocketbook. She's like, boy, you're gonna pick up my pocketbook. Okay, and she's grabbing him by the shirt collar, she's shaking him until his teeth rattled. So she's very intimidating to this young man, and she's trying to figure out why in the world have you, I'm sorry, there's gnats. Why in the world are you trying to steal my pocketbook? Okay, so she's grabbing him now in almost a chokehold, which I absolutely love that visualization. And she's dragging him with her down the street back to her apartment. Okay, so she's like, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself for doing this? Why did you try to steal my pocketbook?" And he's like, "Why? I didn't aim to." And she's like, "Well, you're lying," you know. And she's trying to figure out why in the world he wants her pocketbook. Okay, so she kind of goes into saying things like, well, your face is dirty, I got a mind to wash your face, don't you have anybody at home to wash your face, you look hungry, don't you have anybody at home? And he says, no, there's really nobody there to really take care of me. So she's dragging him down the street, and I love it. He's like, I just want you to turn me loose. And she was like, was I bothering you when I turned the corner? And he's like, no, ma'am. So I love her character in this story. I don't think I could have portrayed it very well, but you can imagine this large black woman dragging this little bitty skinny boy down the road in a headlock. I love it. But anyway, she is taking him back to her little apartment, and just like Roger, okay, even though she's a large black woman, he is a very small, skinny black boy, very dirty black boy, okay? They both don't have a lot of money, okay? We can kind of see that obviously from Roger trying to steal her pocketbook, okay? We know that Mrs. Luella does not have a lot of money either. She does live in a large house, but this large house is divided up into several small rooms so that way they can be rented out. So we have the description of her room. She has this small kitchenette, and a kitchenette is usually simply just a little refrigerator, a very small stove, maybe a small sink. So we know she doesn't have a whole lot. And it says too that she has only one hot plate to cook on. And from the meal too that she's cooking, the lima beans and the cocoa from the milk, we know that her meal that she's preparing is very minimal. So we know she doesn't have a lot of money. Okay. All right. So, and I love after she drags him to her apartment, she leaves her door open. Okay. And we know she leaves the door open because it says that she's left the door open and that the boy could hear people in the other rooms laughing. So I think she leaves the door open here because she's trying to let Roger make the decision for himself, I think, whether to stay or to go. Now you have to keep in mind that Roger has done this wrong thing. But Mrs. Luella looks at Roger, even though he's dirty, even though he's very skinny, even though he is doing something wrong by trying to steal her purse. She's looking at him and knows that he needs somebody to teach him right from wrong. So she is trying to show compassion toward him and kindness and a warmth toward him, even though he has done something wrong. She doesn't have a lot to offer him, but the fact that she's going out of her way to be nice to this young man, even though he looks totally different from what somebody might think it is should be right, even though he looks different, even though he's dirty, she's taking the time to, in this moment, teach him something. So we have this motherly quality starting to come out in her. Yes, it's intimidating, but she says things like, I don't want you with a dirty face while we eat supper, so you get over there and wash your face. So she's trying to teach him, even though she has no idea who this boy is, she's trying to teach him to think about what he has done and to know that he can do a little bit better, and that there's people out there who actually care and want to show kindness to people who do things that are not always right. Okay, so we do find out that Mrs. Jones, or Mrs. Luella Jones, had a very similar lifestyle to Roger. We found out that she did some things growing up that weren't too wonderful, but she did better for herself. She has a job. She doesn't have a whole lot, but she has done better for herself, and she's trying to teach that to Roger. And we find out the reason Roger wants to, or wanted to steal her pocketbook was to get some blue suede shoes. Now, the blue suede shoes kind of are a symbolism of something a little bit better in life, because he's having a rough life and he wants something to make him feel good, to make him feel like he has something better than what he's been handed. But it's kind of funny too. Mrs. Luella was like, why didn't you just ask? And it was kind of surprising to him, like, oh, like I could have asked for this money, okay, instead of having to try to steal it. But even through all this, she winds up giving him the $10 to go and buy those shoes. And Roger is kind of in shock that she has been so nice to him, even though he's tried to steal her pocketbook. She's brought him back to her little apartment. She's cooked him a dinner, and she has given him money to go buy the shoes that he wants. So he's kind of in shock. And at the very end, he is walking out the door, and he's even trying to say thank you. She says that she opens the door and she says, good night, behave yourself, boy. And he's trying to say something other than, like, well, thank you. Because he doesn't really know, I guess, how to respond to the fact of, well, I tried to just steal your pocketbook and you're being really nice to me. What it doesn't seem like thank you is enough. But as she's closing the door, okay, he then finally gets out, thank you. And he never saw her again. So in that moment, I really think he learned a really good lesson. And seeing that not everybody is going to look at you with frustration and hate, that she actually took the time to look at him with love and with kindness and with warmth, in his dirtiness, in his wrongdoing. She took the time to, in a sense, have a teachable moment with this young man. Okay, so I'm kind of looking over some things very quickly to make sure I didn't leave out anything. Okay, I think that just about does it. Okay. As always, if you have any questions about the story, please do not hesitate to send me an email, send me a message through Schoology. You know, I will try to respond as soon as I possibly can. I hope you enjoyed the story. Remember those questions. Use evidence from the text. That's very, very important. I hope you have a good week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Miss you guys. Bye.